Guys, I broke into his house again. He has no idea. He has no idea. I think he's coming. Wait.
Get out of my house! So, if you've checked my community post tab recently, you would have seen that I was planning to make a video on Die of Death, which is another asymmetrical horror game on Roblox similar to Forsaken that I thought was interesting. But the video on that game will come later, because today I feel like I have a way more important topic that I want to talk about. Now, I do not condone any sort of harassment towards Hytoko and Basil, and I know it's very difficult to own a game of this size. But they have made some really weird choices recently on Twitter regarding the legal situation of Soul Driven Love trying to sell the game of Forsaken. Now, of course, Soul was the reason the game did get back in their hands, but one thing they mentioned that was they needed Soul's help. But it just confuses me why they're praising him for helping. Hytoko and Basil are both making tweets about the situation, and a majority of the time they always give Soul a needless amount of credit. Sure, he did get the game back in their hands, but he was the whole reason for the situation even happening in the first place. Not only this, but Soul has done terrible things, as we know. And even though he did something that was good, I don't think he deserves this much credit for doing so, considering all of the bad stuff that he's done severely outweighs all of the positive things he's done. What's even weirder is that they're practically defending Soul, which just completely baffles me why they would do so. They have no logical reason for doing this. If they had such an issue with all the bad things Soul did to the point where they took his ownership from the game, why would they be practically defending him and also giving attention to the apology he's planning to make? Obviously, I'm not trying to say Soul losing ownership of Forsaken wasn't the right thing for them to do, because it very much was, but it's the fact that they're even giving this guy a chance at this point. Even if Soul does make an apology, he has had plenty of opportunities to do so in the past before getting exposed for the things he has done, which clearly indicates to me that he's not sorry at all for what he has done. If he was actually sorry, he would have apologized for it sooner.
While I cannot go into much detail, this outcome would have not been possible had Soul not stepped in to help us get all of this sorted out and figured out. There is a lot that they want to speak about, and they will with time. They have a lot to say and will sometime soon.
Like I said, it is completely unnecessary to credit Soul here, even if he is the reason that their legal troubles are done for. Not only has he done far worse, and this does not make up for what he has done, he also started this legal trouble in the first place. So crediting him is just stupid. What makes this even worse is Hytoko is telling people to go listen to what Soul has to say in his apology. Yeah guys, just go listen to what the absolute creep has to say for themselves, when they could have easily said what they wanted to before getting called out.
This outcome would have not been possible had Soul not wanted to do this for the team. I can't go into details due to an NDA, but know that the other outcome would have had the game and the team itself fearing for their jobs and safety, as well as a bunch of other stuff.
There was no need for this follow-up post. Hytoko, we understood what you meant when you said Soul helped you get the game back. There was no need to reiterate what you already said. It was already bad enough that you were praising someone that has caused this much trouble, but now you're doing it again for no reason? Their decisions absolutely confuse me here. It's like no common sense was put into any of these announcements. Of course, Hytoko isn't the only one guilty of this, because their ownership of the game is shared with Basil, who is also awkwardly defending Soul on Twitter.
I don't know, man. Donating another $12,500 USD when they weren't obligated to do so whatsoever isn't something that we can just brush off or ignore. I get everyone is still angry, but I'm not gonna be an asshole and completely disregard it, especially since it's going to charity.
Jesus Christ. There are several things wrong with this, so let me break it down one by one. First of all, Soul donating $12,500 to charity isn't that much, considering he stole, I don't know, $2 million. even if he wasn't obligated to do so, he is still doing the absolute bare minimum here, considering how much money he stole. Second of all, they can't be 100% sure if this money is actually going to charity, considering all of the terrible stuff Soul has done, and also how he tried to sell the game of Forsaken, which that alone is enough to prove that he can't be trusted with situations involving a lot of money. I highly doubt Soul Driven Love actually donated this money to charity. He probably faked it in some sort of way, knowing how he is. All in all, after seeing how Hytoko and Basil manage their community, and how they manage this situation in particular, makes them very untrustworthy in my eyes. And I'm not trying to say that Hytoko and Basil are necessarily bad people, but the way they do things within their community is very concerning and untrustworthy. How they weirdly defended Soul like this makes me not want to trust them at all. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.